Now, bit of a change of pace. Our next guest is proof that even though fashion fades, style is eternal. 77-year-old Judith Boyd is a fashion blogger and influencer with more than 50,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah, in her own words, she's aging with hats, style, and the mysteries of yoga. And we're delighted to say Judith joins us now from Denver, Colorado.
Hey,
Hi,
Judith.
Hello.
So good to talk to you today.
Now, before we get into it, you're currently self-isolating in the US, so just tell us how you're feeling.
Actually, I'm doing well. I'm a yogi, so I practice yoga every day and meditate and connect with friends. And so I'm taking good care of myself, but very concerned, of course, about what's happening.
Of course.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk about your fashion blog then. It's called Style Crone. Now, I mean, I hesitate saying that word because Crone was defined in the olden days as an ugly old woman. So why did you, I mean, you're glorious. Why did you decide on this name?
Well, when I was deciding on the name for my blog in July of 2010, when I started, I didn't find any positive terms for older women. And so looking back into history, I have always been fond of the word crone. And in past matriarchal societies, crone was a very positive word, and older women were valued and seen as an addition to the culture. And so I wanted to bring it back and turn it on its head, and here it is.
Yeah, you're redefining the word,
Some
and
of these
those
pictures are
outfits
iconic.
are incredible.
Yeah.
You actually started your blog to cope with your late husband Nelson's cancer diagnosis.
Yes, I started my blog about 5 years after his diagnosis. It was a very rare cancer. And we just decided it would be another way to interact through the lens. He'd never been a photographer before. So he started taking photos of me, and I would post them on my blog. And we had a special series, What to Wear to Chemo, and I would dress up. And he would take photos of me in the exam room before he had chemo. And that became a regular series. So it helped to manage and cope with the devastation.
Yeah, that must be a terrible loss for you. We're really sorry about that. But, I mean, look, we're looking at you now. You're not just an influencer and a hat connoisseur or a scarf connoisseur. You're in the scarf room right now. You took to the runway at New York Fashion Week last year. How did that feel and how did that come about?
There was a Denver designer who was going to show during New York Fashion Week, and she asked me to walk for her, and she asked me to be the first out, and it was a glorious feeling. I loved every second of it, and it's a memory that I will always cherish.
Now, you're in the scarf room right now, but you have a hat room.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. How many
Yes.
hats do you own?
You know, I've never counted. Hundreds. I had a hat shop in the 80s. Even though I was a psych nurse, I always had something about style on the side. And so now it's like I have a hat room or a hat shop in my house. So I'm a collector, and it's part of what I do when I put together an outfit.
And you must have a shoe room too. What other rooms do you have?
Well, I live in, it's called a Denver Square. I have a hat room, a shoe room, a scarf room, which is also the guest room. And then I have a basement filled with a vintage collection. So,
My. You are the queen, Judith. Thank you so much for your time. For more information on Judith's work, you can head to stylecrone.com.